All right, cool. Great American Beer Festival, downtown Denver. This is what it's all about. I love the Parrot event, Brian. What about you?
I'm loving it so far. It's my first time, man.
Food and beer, international beers with great chefs. We have a few good ones here. Alex Seidel's here. Josh Nuremberg's here. Dana Rodriguez is here.
Paul over at Beast and Bottle.
Paul Riley's here.
You got Jaleo from Mexico City here.
Jaleo from Mexico City.
There he is right now. Eric Wallace, president of Hand Brewing Company and on the board of directors, right? No, chairman of the board of the Brewers Association. We're gonna walk through this whole event. We'll see a lot of our friends. Hang tight, but we thought we'd kick it off with a gentleman that wouldn't come on with us unless we got this oyster and beer pairing.
And Brown, I've got the oysters right here. I've got the Brown on my side.
So let's
I want to see what you guys think of this.
fulfill this.
The only reason I agreed to this is that you got to try it.
All right, I'm going in
Let's
with a
do
little.
it.
Do you know what the beer is here, Eric?
It's a brown ale. It's called the Brown Note from Against the Grain Brewery.
Well, I will throw down that oyster. There was something crunchy in there. It was good.
Yeah, on top.
That's one of your favorites?
It's pretty damn good. Yeah, it's in the top 5.
A lot of great pairings.
Some incredible pairings. That cuttlefish inside was awesome. There's a great salmon one.
I do got to say
here.
that oyster with a brown, you would never think to go so dark.
Well, oysters and stout, so oysters and brown.
Yeah.
The bread and that crusty bread really makes it go.
Oh, it's tight.
How many years have you been coming to the Great American Beer Festival?
Since 1993.
Quite a few years. So not the early years in Boulder. When
No, I was still in the Air Force back then.
still in the Air Force. So going strong, did you ever think it would grow into something like this?
Well, that was our mission, was to make sure that beer became part of the mainstream and to actually make sure there was great beer everywhere, and it seems that we've been somewhat successful in that mission.
It's interesting because beer really, and Colorado beer, it's a great place to be. Denver, Colorado, Great American Beer Festival. Eric Wallace, how many years has this Parrot event been going? I know, I think 4 of them I've gone to.
I'm going to guess and say 7 or 8.
7 or 8. What was the need inside, and I don't even know if it's a need, but the growing desire to where let's have more food and beer pairings and to capture that within the halls of the Great American Beer Festival?
Well, wine's always been wine with food, and the whole era of beer dinners like kind of roared through for a decade and a half. That's kind of over now because it's become so ubiquitous. But this is one of the coolest pieces of the GABF is to come back here in the back. It's an additional ticket, and it's 20 some odd purveyors that pair everything up. It's really a cool thing to focus on flavor and not just on see how many beers you can try, but actually how does this pairing work with the beer? And let's talk about flavor. That's always my favorite part of a beer dinner is talk about flavor.
I know Julia Hertz loves this type of
this is totally her band. This is in the middle of her.
So
game.
Chef Adam Dooley has teamed up, and is he still the chef for this year?
Adam is standing right behind you over
Adam's
there.
right behind us. We're going to catch
Or
up
he
with
was.
Adam. He was.
We'll have to chase him down.
So some notables that we will run into here. I know that we mentioned the chefs here locally, Alex Seidel, Dana Rodriguez, Paul Riley, Josh Nuremberg from Bin 707. But some notables as we walk around in here. Is Charlie Papazian lurking right now?
I saw Charlie and Sandra earlier. Yeah, they're in there. He's trying to stay low-key.
He's always the most humble guy. If you ever get you probably won't. But one time I had an opportunity. They have like this perch on top of the Great American Beer Festival. Charlie took me up to that perch just to look over the halls.
Look out the window?
Oh, my God. It is something else. But these halls, it's grown. Even this year, it's much larger.
Yeah, there's fewer breweries on the floor. I think it's gone down a little bit from last year, but there's like 40-something thousand people over the 3 days and the 4 sessions. And the number of beers that we're judging, we had 320-something judges this year to hit 9,700 beers in the competition.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, but Eric, also there's other pavilions as well. Has that always been the case? I saw a whiskey pavilion?
Yeah, this is the second year for the Jameson Pavilion. So this is Jameson pairing with breweries and aging their beers in different whiskey barrels. and then taking whiskeys and aging them in beer barrels and playing all these games around. It's really fun.
It's really interesting as you watch the Great American Beer Festival mature. What I really like about the Brewers Association is willingness to pivot. Last year was a complete miss to have everybody alphabetical, wasn't it? People like the region.
I'm not going to admit to any
Come on, it was a miss.
Since I'm not on the events committee, I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, that's right. But truly, that was something that people really looked forward to, is going, because let's admit, you cannot drink all the beer that's in.
I will say that several people have come up to me and go, I love the fact that you're going back to regional. We're in the Meet the Brewer because we're local and we want to talk to everybody ourselves. But yeah, I think going back to regions is the popular choice.
Yeah, and also some blowback on who pours in the halls. Is big beer in the halls? Oh my goodness! Pulling back on some of that things also softened the image back to where it has to be palatable for the one-off brewers.
I think the big beer thing, and I haven't really paid attention to it because I just got in here for the first time tonight. But basically, people owning who they're owned by is really important to us. Transparency. We have the independent seal and that big effort going on, and we think it's really important that people understand that it matters from whom you buy your beer, and local breweries that are independently owned contribute to their communities in very, very different ways than multinational companies that are shipping the profits offshore. It's really important that people understand the people that work in your local brewery and the money that stays in your local community is multiplied, and it makes a huge difference. We can have an effect on our communities far beyond the pure economic impact. And so our value systems as a brewing community really makes a huge difference the quality of life and where we live, work, and play.
Eric, would you share with the brewers, or share with the viewers, what is the independent beer seal?
It's the upside down. Yeah. It kind of looks like the logo that we use on our stuff at Left Hand.
You got it right here
with our nitro, but yeah, it's this thing. Zoom in.
It's an upside down beer bottle.
It's an upside down beer bottle, turning the industry upside down and focusing on independent craft.
Well, and I'll give you a stat. If you spend your money locally, 62% of that money stays locally, versus if you're supporting an out-of-town company, it's only 43% stays locally. That's a pretty big stat.
Back to and I love that. I always say the modern.
We're getting too technical here.
No, yeah, the modern eater. We're all about local. Hyper-local is our hashtag. That's what we utilize. So we're huge advocates of the one-offs and putting shoes on a kid's, a ballerina, rather than another boat in a corporate yard. So we really appreciate that mentality with the Brewers Association. This has kind of baffled me a little bit, though, the upside-down Brewers thing, because the craft beer drinkers are such a discerning group of people that most of them know who's owned by who, and especially most of the beer out there, what is it, 20% of the breweries own 80% of the share of sales? Something like that, enormous number. 80% of the breweries in the country make up for 20% of the sales.
Well, I think it's a little more skewed than that even. But I would certainly strongly disagree that most people know who owns which breweries. I think that is a complete fallacy. Sorry to challenge you on that.
Agree with you, yeah.
I don't. I mean, I have to stay on track of it, and I'm in the business for 26 years. That's what the independent seal is about.
Yeah.
That's why we're trying to make it easier for people to know. The big guys are not allowed to use the intellectual property of the Brewers Association. You have to sign an agreement, and you have to qualify. It's really difficult to know because so many the consolidation is underway, and there's so many breweries being bought up by the big breweries that are not craft. And we think it's important to know your dollars when you buy a beer, where it's going.
Yeah.
Is it staying with your locally owned, or is it flying out of country?
Yeah,
somebody who's tax domiciled somewhere else.
It's interesting where the ceiling is, though, and it kind of a subjective, or to me arbitrary, like Jim Cook, your craft still, how many barrels you do. The companies that are within.
Well, I think that's hard, Greg, because I think he was one of the, sort of the founders of this movement to really do craft beers, and it's hard because what do you do when you grow out of that?
It's a coveted marketing thing. This is such a fun event, the Paired event. We've got to fill up more beers.
Yes, we do.
Catching up with the best of the best. And how's Left Hand doing? Is it just as strong as ever?
It's a fight. We're on solid ground, and we're exploring all kinds of things to do because obviously beer alone is not the way to have double-digit growth anymore.
What's in the future for you guys? Anything new and exciting coming up?
Yeah, we've got this really cool project we just started. We've created a joint venture with some friends of ours that have an organic hemp farm just north of Longmont. So we're making a CBD seltzer called Present, and it's got 20 milligrams of CBD in every can. I use it. I'm old. My joints are creaky. It definitely helps me, and reduces the pain. I don't have to take Advil or something. So that's new. We're working with
seltzer and CBD can no longer be ignored, right?
Well, it's in Colorado. We can do it. Once the FDA kind of opens the gate, we can start shipping that further afield.
But talk about incremental growth for a brewery.
That to us is an important thing. We're working with a company called Giant, who's based in California. They're doing hard kombucha, so we're helping them. They're about to move into Colorado as well. So we've got a number. We work with Foundry, a distillery in Des Moines. We provide them wash, and then we have a co-branded whiskey that's basically resting and is going to be released here in another year plus. So that's going to be very cool as well. So you got to try different things. We have a lot of smart people. We have great lab, great quality, great procedures, and basically we're organized to be able to do this, and we want to stay busy so we can roll this into other areas of the beverage world.
I love it. Talk about trying new things. I want to try. I always go to the same breweries that I know that I love, and that's not what you do here at the Great American Beer Festival. Please, Eric.
You get out of your shell here.
Tell me an IPA that I need to have.
I am not.
Come on.
I am not your top. You should try our IPA because it kicks.
I like that.
I have tried it.
It's in Colorado only. But if I had to name another
Yeah.
company's IPA, I'm a huge fan of Odell's IPA.
Okay.
I think it's a classic.
I've had that too.
And Avery IPA is solid.
I've had that too.
So-
All my favorites.
Yeah, there's some good ones, and these are all friends of ours.
You named
and
it
they've been
again.
doing it for a while.
Hey man, cheers.
Cheers.
More beer. Great American Beer Festival. Long live. Alex, long live Great American Beer Festival. Say it for us.
Long live Great American Beer Festival.
I want to hear it in Italian.
In italiano, lunga vita al Great American Beer Festival.
Cheers to you. We're going to go walk around. Thanks again.
Cent'anni.
I appreciate your time so much. Thank you, sir.
Grazie, prego.
Here's your mic back, Jay. All right, let's get to walking.